Alright, and we are back, gentles and ladiesmen, with Donkey Kong Country 3 on the Game Boy Advance. In the last episode, we finished off Lake Orangatanga and met up with some of the denizens of the Northern Cremisphere. In today's episode, we're going to be continuing on to the second world, the Kremwood Forest. And right off the bat, those of you who have played the original will notice that some of the levels were reordered. That's right. So I believe Barrel Shield Bust Up and Springing Spiders here were swapped between versions. So normally, if you were playing the SNES version of this game, you would be playing Barrel Shield Bust Up instead. So the level has not been removed from the game, it's still in here. They've just been moved around a little bit, and honestly, I personally agree with that decision, because I'd say that Barrel Shield Bust Up is harder than this level, so makes sense to me why they would switch them around like that. But anyways, otherwise, it's not too different in terms of obviously the level is the same. In terms of, and by the way, Green Squawks is back. They didn't remove his code from the game or anything. Just keep that in mind for later when we play as Purple Squawks, who nobody wants to play as. So we're gonna be continuing our discussion of some of the differences between versions, obviously, because obviously I'm known for remake or re-break, so I'd better talk about some of those differences. In fact, this channel might be a good way to show off. Alright, it's time to talk about the bonus rooms in this game. Now that was at least partially my fault, if not fully my fault, but I find the bonus rooms in this third game, most of them are fine. Like, I'd say 80% of them are fine. But there is that handful that I really don't enjoy playing. Like, in terms of how my opinion and whether my opinion has changed since the review, like, I do think maybe I overstated the problems with the bonus rooms as a whole. Like, most of them I'd say are on the level of Donkey Kong Country 2. Where they're pretty simple and straightforward. They're fun to find, they're fun to play for the most part, and they don't significantly drag out the levels or anything. But there is that handful that can get really annoying, and as the game goes on, those become more prevalent, which is probably like an availability error thing in terms of when I was writing the review. Is because I remembered the ones that I had played more recently, because some of the ones toward the end get pretty annoying. But as you can see, one of the new bonus room types for this game are the green banana ones. Basically, they're like the Collect the Stars minigame, except these green bananas will randomly appear throughout the stage, and basically after you grab a certain number of them, the bonus coin will appear. There are no Krem coins in this game, there are bonus coins, and they do have a similar purpose, and we'll probably even get to play one of the levels in the Lost World in this, because guess what, the Lost World's back, spoiler alert. It's called Krematoa, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about that travesty. But hidden balloon down there, and I believe somewhere in this level, or Barrel Shield Bust Up, there are warp barrels in every level of the first two worlds in this game, but I'm not going to be doing that because obviously I'm doing a full completion run, and skipping levels is counterproductive, so yeah. Okay, so here we have our coin puzzle, and if I miss one of these, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt, actually, if I do end up missing one of these. Another difference between Dixie and Kitty is obviously Dixie throws barrels overhead like Donkey Kong did, while Kitty throws them sideways like Diddy did. So basically, the same sort of balance in terms of what the characters can do applies here, as in the first game, pretty much. Alright, so you grab that M there. I'm not sure what this is for. I think whatever, I didn't need that. Okay, so probably what to talk about next. Kill that, what are those things called? Spinies? Spinies were the enemies from the second game. I don't know what that one is called. Those are called. Maybe porcupines? I got nothing. Looks like there's something up here. I don't think it's a... No, it's just the G. Those woodpeckers are gonna be really annoying later. Just you wait. Alright, 30 stars, folks. And these are pretty similar to what they were like in the second game. You just grab the 30 stars and, you know... the only obviously time limits and stuff apply. But for the most part, though, the collect the stars minigame those don't really offend me that much. Though the only ones I don't like are the green banana ones, and even then only some of them, because it's the same thing as the coins really, where like sometimes they're really easy, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having them, and whatever the green banana ones are challenging, they're just annoying to play. So, alright, so here we are back with round 2 of Cranky's Dojo. So, you want to see me in action one more time, do ya? To help me trade, it will cost you 2 of those stupid silver coins, the one with the freaky bear heads on them. Good luck! Okay, so I note that before we started this minigame, there was a new high score setting on there that was set to 0. But, I don't know, maybe I'm not, you know, just not seeing it, but as far as I can tell, despite the fact that there are like 7 or 8 Cranky's Dojos throughout the entire game, as far as I can tell, the minigame is the same at each of them. And we got the banana bird for completing the first one, so after you beat one of them, you pretty much can just skip with the rest. And I probably won't be playing any more Cranky's Dojo after this. Just much like Bag of Bug, I just kind of wanted to show off how it works. And then just after that, we're just done. Excellent skills! You managed to deflect all those spiky critters. And much like Bag of Bug, you can still get like goodies for completing it, but in terms of your numerical completion of the game, which is now handily available from the pause menu, which it was also in this first and second game, I guess, on GBA. But okay, so this level has a bit of a gimmick, so I'm just gonna talk about that real quick. Man, this should be called, this playthrough should be called Digressions, the Commentary. Because I cannot seem to stay focused on one thing long enough to finish my thoughts on anything. So I apologize, but that's just how it is. When you have ADHD, you tend to get sidetracked with things. But I'm getting off topic, I'll go with that. So we're actually gonna be doing 2 runs of the stage. As you can see, there is a timer in the bottom corner of the screen. And that is relevant for one of the banana bird caves in this game. So that I highly suggest trying to beat that in your first playthrough and then going back for all the collectibles in your second playthrough. That's the most efficient way to go about it. And by the way, I'll talk more about the music later, but I swear that the theme that plays when you're under the water in this game, the Enchanted Riverbank theme is what it is. I swear that it's literally just a remix of Dragon Rock from Star Fox Adventures. When I played Star Fox Adventures and hated every minute of it, but when I got to Dragon Rock, I was like, hey, is that the Enchanted Riverbank theme from Donkey Kong Country 3 and GBA? And if you listen to them side to side, you can hear some resemblance. I don't think it's the exact same song, but you can definitely hear the influence of it in there. But I digest. Hey, is there a hidden collectible over here or something? No, that Coco is just there to be a dick. Oh shit, there's a thing up there. Okay, So you know how I said that there are like 2 levels in this game that use... Well, I'll just let him kill me then. There are 2 levels in this game which use Kitty's water skipping ability. And this is one of them. And it's annoying because obviously we have this swarm of buzz enemies chasing us, like, you know, those annoying red buzzsaw enemies. There's basically a swarm of those chasing you throughout this level. I don't know why. Maybe it's just to incentivize you to go faster, but I think Timer does that pretty well on its own. Use your water skipping ability to get up here. You might be able to get around on the other end as well, but I don't know. Personally, I find it's easier just do the water skip move. And here's another mildly annoying green banana one. So what makes these annoying is that... So obviously if you get hit by an enemy or fall into a bottomless pit during a bonus room, you lose the bonus room and get kicked out, and then you basically have to restart. And thankfully, much like the other 2 games in the original trilogy, if you lose a bonus room, you can basically just go right back in and try again right away. You don't have to kill yourself or anything dumb like that. But still... with the green banana ones, I find those are the ones where I tend to die the most because of... That's just the way that the bonus rooms are laid out. You know, the idea is that you're supposed to... You're supposed to keep trying to grab these green bananas while avoiding whatever hazard that will make you fail the stage. And, you know, that's fine. Like, that one with the cocoa was okay. But there's some later on in this game, especially in the original version, that are really fucking obnoxious to play. And it's just one of the things I don't enjoy that makes it kind of hard to come back to Donkey Kong Country 3 compared to the other 2 games, honestly. Maybe the bonus rooms in the first game, you didn't even have to win them. In the second game, they were all pretty easy, but what I don't want is something that wastes my time and pads out the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of honestly what I feel about some of the green banana bonus rooms in this game. But that's only some of them. There are plenty of other bonus rooms I don't like, and I'll be sure to point them out as we go along. Yeah. So I believe we have our coin up over here, and it's annoying because we have this fucking swarm in the way. While I'm trying to pull off this kind of tricky maneuver that the game doesn't use all that often. Thankfully, the buzz swarm will not come near the mounds. I don't know why. And I think we've already got everything in the level, but let's just beat it just in case. Yeah, we're done. So as you can see, it took me a good 20 extra seconds to beat the level with all that stuff, so definitely do 2 runs, it'll work out that way. So here we are moving on to Squeals on Wheels. And I guess one of the 10 things I was talking about was, you know, minigames. Cranky Kong, there are 8 spots to go to him, and each one has its own unique high score counter for some reason, even though the minigame is the same. So what I think is that originally they had planned to make 8 unique stages for the Cranky's Dojo, but here's my ultimate hypothesis on Donkey Kong Country 3 on GBA. I think this port, this remake, this re-release, whatever the hell you want to call it, was rushed out the door. It really feels like it in a whole bunch of different ways. There's no way that this game wasn't released to meet a deadline or something, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously the intro is gone when the first 2 games had it. There is no status screen in this game, even though the first 2 remakes had it. There are barely any new cutscene content or anything like that. All the minigames feel half-baked. Like, they don't feel finished. Like, it feels like we had some fun ideas for minigames, like the VR missions and the, Cranky's Dojo is a simple, fun idea. Funky's boat missions are probably the most complete out of the bunch. But those ones aren't as fun to play because they're kind of annoying, especially the first one. It just feels like this game, and you might have also noticed there's no scrapbook in this game. I don't know why, because you know, honestly, I'm not too broken up about that, because I think this game is kind of bloated as it is when it comes to side content. Like if they'd gotten rid of some of the Brothers Bears side quests, or maybe some of the Banana Bird caves, then maybe I'd be fine with it. But it's just like it would have been more shit to get. But still, it feels kind of weird that the first two games had a scrapbook. The second game had a scrapbook, even though that had a lot of side quest content. And then you play this game, and there's no... There are no scrapbooks photos at all. And it's just why? And my answer to that question is they ran out of time. They had trouble meeting the deadline, so certain things had to be sacrificed. Now, there is one new thing that they did add that wasn't in the original, you know, beyond minor graphical differences, like new content for the game that I will be covering when we get to it. But, you know, still, like, it feels like it's missing some of the features that felt standard to the remakes of the first two games on GBA. Because of that, I can't help but feel that this is the worst game in the trilogy on GBA. You know, just in terms of how little was improved over the original version, because the original version was not a perfect game by any means, and there was a lot of room to fix things up. I mean, I know there's only so much they could do without, like, radically changing the level design, but still. Obviously, you know, the gimmick of this level kind of speaks for itself. You kill these sneaks. Did I seriously miss one? Oh no, it was just fucking with me. As you can see, there's a shortcut back to the beginning of the level. When we first entered the level, there was no door. There was a door there blocking our way, but because we killed all the sneaks, we can proceed with the stage. This is another new animal buddy for this game, Perry the Parallel Bird. And he might also be a parakeet, who knows. And he is a son of a bitch, and we'll see plenty of that later. But, so with Swanky's Dash, this is probably the second best minigame in the game. Because each of the stages are unique, technically. They all look different, and they all have different layouts for the stars and the ball spikes and whatnot. But the level design doesn't really progress at all. I mean, I guess you could say the same about Funky's Fishing as well. But Funky's Fishing at least felt like you were doing something kind of different every time. With Candy's Dance Studio, the dances got harder and more involved, like you had new buttons to press. With this, it just feels like all I knew how to do was put in corkscrew layouts for the stars and straight lines for the stars, which are always annoying. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to get those. I'd be lying if I've said that I've completed all of these stages with getting all the stars and whatnot, because why bother? You get the Banana Bird for completing the first one. If you know, you don't have to get them all, thank God, but you do have to get like maybe 90% of them. Very good, you did better than I expected. You got 109 out of 112 stars. That's one of the best performances I've seen in a long, long time. And here we get some goodies. So it is worth playing for that, I guess, because we will be needing a lot of coins later, and I missed the fucking coin in the stage. Good thing I saw that, so we will cut back to when I find the coin. I'm pretty sure I know where he is, but, you know, stay tuned. Alright, so as you can see, there's a sneak and two buzzes surrounding this particular wheel right here. You just use your team up move and you could, I don't know, maybe you can make that jump even. But up here, that's where the coin is. And thankfully, we can just hit start and select to move on with our lives. So each of the Swanky stages are unique and all that, and they look different, they have their own layout, but the level design for them feels pretty samey, and honestly, like, you can jump and you can also break, but there's no point in the stages where you'd ever even need to use those abilities. So it's just another thing in this game that feels like a waste of potential. It feels like this game was missing maybe a month of development time. But we'll get into that more as we go along. So from now on, I will not be going to the Cranky's Dojo stages, but I will be playing each of the Swanky ones because, like I said, they are different every time. Technically, you only need to beat the first one to get the Banana Bird, unlike the Funky one, where you do have to beat all the missions. I'm not sure what the discrepancy was for, but regardless, here we have our first bonus room of the stage. And yeah, so obviously the gimmick of this level is we have, I think these are called Minky Kongs. I think they're like little lemurs that throw lychee nuts or something at you. And like I said, in the original version of this game, this would have been the first level you played in Kremwood Forest, and around this time in the world is when you'd be playing Springing Spiders. But personally, I think dodging the Minkies is a little harder than anything in Springing Spiders, so I'm fine with that. Okay, so in terms of new stuff to talk about, probably mention fantastic new soundtrack that was created just for this game. Now, I'm gonna come out and say it. There are a few songs I like in the original game, but for the most part, I think the soundtrack in Donkey Kong Country 3 and SNES is pretty weak sauce. Like, I like Nuts and Bolts, I like the final boss theme. Ooh, what's that? Ooh, I almost missed that. It's probably our coin up there. Yup. Another easy puzzle that makes it all the more pointless. So, like, the soundtrack of the original game. So, first game, Donkey Kong Country 1, 1994, had 3 composers. That would be David Wise, Evelyn Novakovic, back then she was called Evelyn Fisher, she got married at some point, and Robin Beanland, who still works at Rare. I think Evelyn Novakovic still works there too. And in the first game, it was kind of, I believe Robin Beanland only composed Funky's theme for Donkey Kong Country 1, and then David Wise and Evelyn Novakovic split up the rest of the tracks. Like, I believe Evelyn Novakovic, like all the really moody, atmospheric themes from the first game were Evelyn Novakovic's, like Voices of the Temple and Northern Hemisphere, Northern Hemispheres actually, and I believe the world map theme was hers as well. Tracks like that were all her brainwork, you know, her work, rather. And most of the music in the SNES soundtrack was composed by her. There are a few tracks that David Wise contributed, like I'm pretty sure the bonus room theme was his, and the title screen theme was his, stuff like that, but most of the level themes and both of the boss themes, I think, were both hers.
What? You can't have beaten my time! I've held that record for 2 years running! You've made me so angry, I could just...
So, in the original version of the game, Brash got brash and bashed the table and shook the screen, and it was implied that his temper tantrum caused that little branch down there to basically fall down from one of the trees and then float down the river. But in this game, the branch just suddenly comes down the river, and they don't show how that works, which is kind of an odd change. Would it have really been that hard to make this, to animate him banging the table and stuff? I don't know. So this level is kind of like Slime Climb 2.0. It's a little, obviously it's a horizontal level, not a vertical one, but it has a similar concept. That down there is, actually, I don't know what these, they're called Niblas. And they're basically like Snapjaw from Donkey Kong Country 2. They will chase you throughout the level. So, if you fall in the water, they will instantly run over to you and take a bite out of you. So, you do want to stay out of the water. And I just realized I have no idea how long this part has gone on, so... I don't know, we'll finish the world, why the hell not? Okay, what the fuck was that game? One thing I do have to note about the new soundtrack, I hate how long the lose theme goes on for the bonus stages. If you lose the bonus room, like, the music just keeps playing on forever, feels like. Well, I'm gonna tank that hit, get back in there, see if I can't do this right the second time. Alright, so here we have our barrel. Come on, game. Why do you gotta do me like that? Oh, fuck! Ugh, okay, we gotta kill ourselves. This is always fun, you know. Maybe I could have weaved that in. But, whatever, we're already dead. We're already gonna have to start the stage over. Hit that. I think that's called a bounty bird. Something like that. There's a... yeah, I think they're called bounty birds, and there are other enemies that are similar. They're called bounty basses. Basically, you kill them and you get a prize for it. So whenever you kill them, they will drop something, which is a fun idea. I say. And I keep missing easy jumps. What is this? The DSP gaming channel? Ha ha ha. Okay. So like as you can see, you kill that, and then he drops a TNT barrel to kill that red buzz. Like, levels like this are fun. These are the fun levels in Donkey Kong Country 3. And as long as I'm talking about the music, it's one of the 5 tangents I'm on right now. And I would say that, like, the music that plays when you're under the water is really, really good. The one that sounds like Dragon Rock. But the one that plays when you're above water is just the most generic ambiance you could think of. And because you can't even go in the water in this stage without getting killed, so... Why can't I beat this easy bonus room? This isn't even one of the ones I hate or anything. This is... Okay, let's try this again. And oh yeah, you can totally jump back in there from there. Alright, well you saw this pro strat here first, folks. Then again, I'm sure the speedrunning community for this game does not need my help. Alright, see if I can't make it! There we go. Finally! Jesus Christ. Alright, you know, on second thought, I think I'm gonna cut things off for the episode right here, because I just remembered we're gonna have some minigame stuff to do and a secret level to play. So, we'll save that for next time. We'll finish off the stage, we'll beat the boss, and we'll take care of some other stuff before moving on to the third world. So, yeah, see you guys next time.